Welcome to the Root Cause Revolution podcast with functional and integrative nurse nutritionist and energy medicine practitioner, Audrey Christie.
Hey friends, welcome to episode 281 of the Root Cause Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Audrey, and I'll take just a brief second to introduce myself. I'm a root cause clinician specializing in helping you to stop masking symptoms and start healing for good. So if you're done with Band-Aids and ready for real healing solutions, you're in the right place. Today, we're talking about energetic interventions for working with pain. Energetic interventions for working with pain. So as you know, pain is very, very real to the experiencer. Pain is, it could be caused by any number of things. It could be low-grade pain that just kind of nags you all the time. It could be, more intense pain that has you having to sit or lay down. It can be pain that you might be reaching for a medication, either over-the-counter or prescription for. But I want to give you some tools today that are particularly useful for chronic pain, but they can also be useful in acute pain situations as well. All of the techniques we're going to talk about today are things that you can do all by yourself. There are obviously a lot more things that you can do, but oftentimes they either require a practitioner or they require in-person work, like a partner to be done, a partner or a helper with you. So we're going to talk about, let's first start with breathing out the pain. Breath moves energy, and by focusing your breath, you can gain some control over your pain, if not eliminate it completely. And the way you do this is by closing your mouth, breathing in through your nose, and breathing as if you are trying to smell a flower, right? And then you breathe out of your mouth with pursed lips as if you're blowing out a candle. Each breath needs to be a little slower and a little slower than the breath before it. So you can think smell the rose and then blow out the candle. Smell the rose and then blow out the candle. And what I mean by focusing your breath is to focus your breath on the area that has pain. So if you have pain in your hip or in your back or in your knee, breathe in to that area of your body. And if you're thinking, Audrey, my lungs are not connected to my knee, you'd be absolutely correct. But by filling those lungs up and pushing that diaphragm down as far as you possibly can, you are increasing your circulation, massaging your internal organs, and increasing the oxygen levels in your blood that goes to that knee. Okay? So that's technique number one, breathing out the pain. Now, the second one is tapping. And I know I've talked to you guys a lot about tapping as in the emotional freedom technique, but this is a little bit different. This is going to be tapping for pain. Now, you can use EFT. Tapping Solution has some really great guided tapping meditations for tapping through pain, but this is more direct in the approach. So pain sensors on top of the skin control a lot of the pain that we feel. And so you can use your fingers or something with a lot more little tappers, like a hairbrush with, those little plastic prongs. And you can just tap. You can tap over sore muscles. You can tap over shoulder pain. You can tap over back pain. Tap for as long as you need to. It should take about a minute, maybe a little bit longer. But you're tapping and you will jar that energy loose and that energy will move more freely. Pain in the body is just stuck energy and stagnant energy. Now, a lot of times people will encourage you to stretch in order to relieve pain, and I disagree. I find it more beneficial for people to strengthen around pain. So if you have back pain, you can do core strengthening exercises to help relieve the pain. If you have knee pain, you can do quadricep and hamstring, so the muscles on the front and back of your thigh, strengthening, as long as there's not an open wound, strengthening around the pain area actually brings relief. The key is not to do too much too fast. So you want to stick to about 6 reps, 3 sets, and you can do that multiple times a day, resting about a minute between each set. And then once you do your strengthening techniques, if you can reach your pain, press deeply around the outside of the pain and push that pain out into the muscle in every direction. The next one is called pinching. And pinching is a way of lightly pinching the skin. And it signals to the brain that pain is no longer necessary. It works in a similar way as tapping with the hairbrush. And it's kind of like hitting a reset button after the breaker's been thrown. Obviously, you don't want to do this over a open wound, but this can be done over any kind of physical pain that is not an open wound. It has a resetting effect. It actually triggers something called the spindle cell mechanism. And it's particularly useful for hands, wrists, elbows, back, but any large, broad muscle body that you can get to. One of my favorite energy techniques is the one we're going to talk about next, and that is called siphoning. And so all you do to siphon is place your left hand over the area of pain on you or someone else that you want to help. And know that your left hand is like the negative side of the battery. And this doesn't mean negative as in bad. This is just negative as in it's the side that pulls energy. It siphons off. So you hold your right hand down and away from your body. That is the positive side. That's where the energy is going to come out. And you can pump the right hand gently up and down. And I've heard people report that speeds up the process. I honestly generally forget to do that step. But you can hold that position with your left hand over the area of pain and your right hand pumping until you feel that pumping sensation stop. Then after that, you can switch, put your right hand on the area of pain, and in order to put positive energy into that space. Now, if you're doing that, sometimes if you're doing it to someone else or if you're doing it to yourself, you'll notice that energy feels like it gets caught up in a different area of your body instead of kind of siphoning out. The solution for that is to stop and shake both hands really, really hard. If you ever feel someone else's energy caught in you, you want to shake that out, right? Shake it out really, really fast. Now, I've got a few more techniques, so hopefully you're still hanging in there. And the reason why I give so many techniques is because one technique won't work for everyone. So you want to make sure that, if you try the first two and you're like, this doesn't work, then try something else, because it is possible to sedate the pain in your body without using anything external to sedate it. The last two techniques I want to talk to you about are using a magnet to relieve pain. Magnets can be used with any of the techniques that I talked about, but you can also use them therapeutically. You can just tape a magnet to the area of the body that hurts. And I've used successfully a magnet, and I've also used a stone for that, like malachite, that has kind of a pain relieving quality. And you can just take it to the body. So what you want to do is make sure that you have the pole placed against the skin correctly. Okay. So the south side of the magnet, which stimulates growth and increases circulation, should not, well, number one, if you have a pacemaker, no magnets, right? Do not use the magnet technique. The south side of the magnet stimulates growth and increases circulation. The north side of the magnet draws energy towards it. The south side disperses energy away from it. So you want to make sure you have a pretty powerful magnet, like the Lifesaver like magnets sold by Radio Shack. They're really big, round, donut-looking magnets. These generally work for pain. The north side of the magnet is placed against the skin. Then the south side can be held on the area after you get done siphoning it out with the north side, okay? You want to make sure you don't place the south side of a magnet directly on a painful area. You can, however, place the south side of the magnet above the pain, closer to the head, so superior to the pain, and that can help with blood flow and overall energy. The exception to this is a burn, so you always want to use the north side below the burn. And when we're just referring to pain, you just want to make sure, again, for pain, you want to put the north side of the magnet against the skin. And so sometimes people will be like, well, Audrey, how do I test the polarity of a magnet? So the easiest way to find out which side is the north or south side of the magnet is to use a compass. The south side, the side of the needle that points to the Earth's magnetic north will also point to the north pole of your magnet. And then just mark the north side with an oil-based paint or a fingernail polish. And then you can check, if you don't have a compass, you can check the magnet's effect on your body to determine which side is the north side and which side is the south side. So you just place the magnet against your head above the left ear and have somebody energy check you. You will lose energy when the north side of the magnet is against your side and the south side will strengthen you. So you can use a little muscle testing technique there as well. And then the last technique I want to talk to you about is chakra techniques. Pain can be relieved using chakra techniques. There are small chakras or vortices of swirling energy all over your body, not just in the center. They can form over areas of pain. They can form over wounds. And so keeping this energy moving for these smaller chakras can be really, really helpful. All you do is a similar technique to the siphon. You simply rotate the left hand in a slow counterclockwise circular motion over the part of the body that hurts. And this works to draw out stagnant energy and also to relieve pain. You want to do this for a few minutes, but not more than 5 minutes, and then move either hand into a clockwise motion to just balance the energy that you've just cleared. And you only have to do a couple swipes of that. So hopefully that's given you some techniques to test, to try before reaching for something to mask the pain. Try moving that energy around first. As always, friends, I'm always rooting for you, and I will see you on Wednesday for the next episode. See you then.
Thank you for listening to the Root Cause Revolution podcast. Be sure and subscribe on your favorite podcast provider. Ratings and reviews are always appreciated.